Phil Mickelson has been hitting golf balls since he was 18 months old. He's still hitting balls, trying to perfect the imperfectible. He has 18 PGA Tour wins, a beautiful wife and daughter, and he picked the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl before the season started at odds of 22-1. Meet the riverboat gambler, Phil Mickelson, now on Golf Talk Live. If you put the career of Phil Mickelson onto a graph, every trend and every data point evidences that the conclusions drawn are happy ones, because he simply continues to get better. And when a world-class player tightens every aspect of his game, no win, no tournament, no championship is far from his grasp. And there is very little Phil Mickelson hasn't accomplished. He was a four-time first-team All-American. He won the U.S. Amateur in 1990. He won the 1991 Northern Telecom Open while still an amateur. As a professional, Phil won twice in 1993, once in 94 and 95, four times in 96, twice in 97 and 98, four times in 2000, and once so far in 2001. That's 18 PGA Tour wins and counting before his 31st birthday. No active players except Crenshaw and Woods have more. He's a three-time Ryder Cupper and will play for the team again in 2001. He's a four-time President's Cup player and beginning a career as a golf course architect. Phil's married to Amy, and their daughter Amanda celebrates her birthday just after U.S. Opens are completed, while Phil celebrates his birthday just before U.S. Opens begin. Phil works with teacher Rick Smith diligently to tighten his swing and game for the demands of professional major championships, which are the only wins missing from Phil's spectacular resume. He's a better putter now, particularly from lagging distance and from inside 12 feet, where Nicklaus has said great players evidence themselves. And Phil Mickelson is a great player, father, husband, friend, and son. And he continues to put those data points on the graph that says he's getting better at everything in every part of his life. And he proceeds with work ethic, with enthusiasm, with infectious energy to continue the happy trends. Welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm Peter Kessler. My great pleasure to introduce you to and welcome to our show the second best player in the world, Phil Mickelson. Great to see you again.
Thank you, Peter.
Congratulations on a great weekend.
Well, thank you. It was an enjoyable tournament.
Yesterday's why you play, essentially, right? I understand there's 156 guys usually in a tournament, but what you're hoping is, I think, not only to win, but to test yourself, to prove yourself and either win or lose and not be 3 through 156.
Well, that's true, and I think that yesterday was a very good day for me, but it was a good week for me because I really didn't lose the tournament yesterday. I lost the tournament earlier in the week, and I learned from that. On Friday's round, I shot 72, but I did that with 7 bogeys, and that's where I really gave the tournament away, and I came out on Saturday morning and hit my first tee shot out of bounds. And the way I look at it is for me to be able to come back and get back in contention, to have a chance on Sunday where a low round would catch Tiger, or whoever was leading at that point, was an accomplishment, and I did. And not only did I have a chance, but I ultimately shot a low round, what I thought was going to be low enough, and I obviously didn't win, and Tiger made an unbelievable finish. It was a very exciting tournament, and it was very fun for me to be a part of that, even though the outcome wasn't what I had initially hoped.
I think he had 5 holes in the tournament over par, and I think you had 13 holes in the tournament at bogey or worse. What do you attribute your inconsistency to in the middle of the golf tournament this weekend?
Some of it's poor decision making, some of it was just poor shots. I was sloppy. I started out with a couple of 3 putts, which was not good. I made a couple of maybe bad decisions off the tee where I was very aggressive this week, hitting driver on just about every hole. And so I attribute it to a few things, but a lot of it was just poor decision making and ultimately not really committing myself to some of the shots that I decided to hit before I struck it, meaning as I'm standing over the ball, I wasn't totally committed to the shot, had some uncertainty and made a bad swing.
Since the beginning of the year 2000, between you and Tiger, you won 15 times on this tour, you 5 and Tiger 10, and nobody else really even close. And he has clearly, and you have clearly begun to separate yourselves from the rest of the pack. Those of us who love and watch golf have been hoping for a Snead-Hogan or Jones-Hagen or Arnie and Jack kind of rivalry. Do you feel like that you are now, and that there's every reason that you ought to continue to be one half of that rivalry with Tiger?
I don't think that it's really my position to say either way. I think that those rivalries seem to form on their own. I will say that it is not feasible statistically for anybody to overcome Tiger in the world ranking for the next 2 years based solely on what he did last year. Those points will continue on for 2 more years. So really, if anybody's going to overtake him, it's got to be a 2-year plan of steady, consistent play and excelling in the majors. And so if anybody's going to overtake him, which certainly I'm trying to do, it has to start this year, and it has to start with the majors as well as every other event.
What can he do that you can't do or don't do?
Well, that's a question that's tough to answer because in each player's mind, we like to feel as though there's nothing anybody else can do better. So, you know, I would kind of bow out from answering that.
We got some tape of Tiger's round yesterday, which we're assuming you haven't seen very much of. And we've highlighted particularly the little shots as opposed to the big ones. As we roll this, I want to get your sense of what you appreciate as a friend of his, as a peer of his, as a rival of his, as an observer, what it is he does that's so attractive in terms of getting the moment right to hit the great shot, or his ability to continue to sink par putts. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and just get your take on exactly what it is that we're watching. Now here he is on 7 for par.
Well, I've got to believe that this is a pretty critical putt for him because it would take some of the momentum away that he had just gained on 6, taking a 3-shot lead over Sergio. That was a pretty important putt.
And par again on number 8.
My goodness, does he ever miss?
Where do you see some of these?
I saw the one on 14.
We'll show it to you again. We know you loved it so much, and here he is on the very next hole on number 9, saving par again.
Yeah, this one's not, I can understand this. This 6-footer, he's pretty solid on his. I haven't seen him miss one since 95.
And in his head, he probably thinks he's never missed one.
Those are really the putts that you have to make if you're going to win tournaments. And his short game is way underrated. This shot could have very easily gone in. I actually did see this one. And he missed it in a good spot. He had a wedge in, so I was surprised he missed the green, but this shot almost went right here. His short game is underrated because his long game is so good.
Here's the one we knew you wanted to see a second time.
Yeah, this is just a real pearl here.
This reminds me a little bit of the angle of the putt you made on 12 when you made eagle when you won a few years ago, the final round 65.
You're right, I can't complain. Those things need to happen if you're going to win, and he has been saying all along that he has not had the good breaks, but it seems like he had some good breaks yesterday, which you need to win. This is a nice little touch here.
You don't appreciate on TV how downhill and tough that is.
It wasn't that tough.
I'm not saying for you, I just mean generally speaking for the rest of us.
Let me tell you what really impressed me about this shot here is that he had just made 2 poor swings with the driver. He puts all that away, and instead of trying to fix those swings, he tries to hit a good shot here, which is tough to do. Mentally, he's thinking positively as opposed to trying to fix a bad swing, which so many amateurs seem to do. This was a very impressive shot here. And this putt was not that easy. Everybody that had come through earlier had left it short and low, and for him to play enough break and hit it at a good enough speed was a heck of a putt.
How hard is it to keep your face composed at a moment like this when you know you're on air?
Well, there's a camera right in my face, so I'm not about to show too much emotion, but I wasn't overly thrilled to see that go in, but I certainly commended the way he won. And you know, to hit to birdie last hole into the wind was a tough hole. I thought that par would be a tough enough score, and for him to birdie and win, I give him all the credit because he finished it off. And not only that, he did it when he wasn't feeling comfortable over the ball. And that is sometimes the hardest thing to do as a player, when you can feel your game slipping a little bit. For him to basically suck it up and birdie 16 and 18 after those drives is impressive, because you're doing what you need to do to get the job done. And that's basically your mindset. That was a good finish that he had.
Did you get a chance to shake hands at the conclusion of that tournament?
We did, and I certainly congratulated him on his play. It was a tough round, and he certainly finished it off nice.
We'll take a little break, and we'll be back to look at some of the highlights of your round in just a moment. Your whole life, you've had every reason to think that you were going to be number one, based on the experiences that you had, successful, unbroken series of on-course experiences, winning the U.S. Amateur, winning a PGA Tour event as an amateur, getting ready and thinking in your head clearly, right in the center, right up front, someday, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be number one. Now, he's number one, and you're number two, and moving forward. How much play does that get in your head?
Well, the way I look at it is, looking back, I was very successful in the junior ranks, and I was very successful in collegiate ranks, winning Player of the Year 3 times in each. And the reason that I was successful there was I got by on feel. I had great hand-eye coordination and great touch around the greens, and I was able to get by with less than sound mechanics. And as I got into the professional ranks, the misses became more penalizing and much more difficult to overcome and get up and down. It's much more difficult saving par around the greens of a tour event than a college or a junior tournament, because the greens are so much firmer, so much faster, and the rough's so much deeper. So the short game is minimized, I think. So what I found is that when I turned pro and my fundamentals weren't quite as sound, I was making too many mistakes. And until I started working with Rick Smith about a year and a half ago, I did not have as solid a base, meaning my lower body wasn't solid enough, and my swing was not technically sound enough to be consistent week in and week out. And obviously, if I'm going to compete and try to compete with Tiger or be the best player in the world, I need to be fundamentally sound and to be able to compete week in and week out. And when Tiger came out, he's had sound fundamentals from day one. And so everything that he does now is fine-tuned. All the feel that he has is repeatable day in and day out. Whereas that wasn't the case for me. I would have wild swings one way or the other and huge misses. And now I feel like I'm getting to the point where fundamentally I'm sound, and now the feel and the touch that I have is starting to be able to take over.
Johnny Miller said yesterday, as you were standing on the 18th tee, to the audience watching on NBC, that he thought it was the best round, the best, most important round up to that point of your career. Do you agree with that?
I don't know if I do. It certainly could be true. I wouldn't disagree with it, but I would think that the final round in the '99 U.S. Open was a good round, even though again I didn't win there. I thought that the final round of the Tucson Open in '91 was a good round. It's really hard to put those in perspective, but I felt like I played a solid round under difficult conditions yesterday, with the outcome less than desirable.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from your round, since there weren't really any lowlights on your scorecard. Let's go ahead and take a look. What do you think about when you see you doing this?
Well, that was the first birdie there on number 5, and I did not birdie 4 to par 5, and that hurt. So to get that one back was helpful. I did not birdie 6 again, but I came back on 7 and made a good putt here from just off the fringe for a birdie. So I felt like I gave 2 back, but I got 2 unexpectedly. I turned in 2 under and was 1 or 2 back at the time when I made the turn. This was the 11th here. This was a 6-iron. This was actually a really good shot. I just knocked one in the water yesterday with a pathetic swing. And here, I made an aggressive swing, attacked the pin into the wind, and ended up about 4 feet.
And that was a pretty structurally sound swing, too. That was the new film, but it wasn't
I think
really.
so. If you look at my lower body, there's not nearly as much movement. The swing's much more on plane. This is a pretty easy putt, right center, and it was only 4 or 5 feet.
But there's the putting stroke, the path, the face, pretty pure.
It's getting to be more consistent, thank you. This was a tough putt here, and I hit a poor third shot into this par 5, and I had already not birdied the first 2, so this was a pretty important putt. It slides away going to my left early, and then it comes back to the right. And this was a very similar putt, a double breaking putt that I made in 97 for Eagle when I won that tournament, so that kind of gave me thoughts like I might do something here. This is a good par save after not a great tee shot. And then this one, it was a pretty straight putt, and it was due to the driver off the tee. I had a little L wedge in, hit a good shot, and had about a 12-footer here for birdie.
Miller said when you hit that drive that you were the biggest gambler on tour, and it wasn't clear whether he meant on things or on the golf course.
Well, I think that gambling on the golf course is a form of competition, just like you pay your entry fee. You're putting up money to try to win money, and I don't look at it as gambling per se as I do competition. This was a 6-iron here on 15. I made a good swing, but I expected it to come out a little hotter out of the rough. And you can even see it check up there, which I didn't expect. So I had a tough 2 putt, but I hit a good lag putt and made birdie.
Now we'll see a slow-mo of this in a second.
You know what? This was not necessarily as bad a swing as it looked, and the reason why was it was more a poor decision at the start. I tried to change the trajectory. I had been driving the ball very well all day, hitting just nice high drives down the middle, and I tried to hit a low scooter. I didn't want it to get up in the air. It was into the wind, and you can see that I come over the top of the plane, that swing plane you saw going back. I come over it a little bit and just pull it. The ball didn't hook. I just straight pulled it. It was a straight pull. The ball went dead straight, but well right of the line. And I was just trying to hit a low scooter. It was a poor decision. I should have just hit the swing and the drive that I had been making all day. And so I left myself this wonderful third into the 18th green, trying to stay even with Tiger, and I hit a L wedge from 82 yards, and just trying to get it close.
Swing?
That was a swing that I had been working on all year, my short irons and wedge play from 100 yards in, and to pull that shot off was basically just trusting what I had been working on. It wasn't a great lie. It was a tough little pin to get to, and just trusting the fact that I had worked on this in the past gave me confidence in the shot.
Even you were impressed after you hit that one.
Well, at the end there, I thought it might go in. I wasn't trying to make it, certainly, but as I saw it go by the hole, I thought I had a chance to drop.
We'll take a break, and we'll pick this up in just a moment. Don't go away. Some career highlights as we leave you. So here's a question submitted to our website for you today. Will you do anything different this year preparing for the majors than you've done in the past? You are my pick to win the Masters in 2001. Bob Bates would like you to know.
Well, Bob comes from a cool city in Baltimore. I'm very fond of that city this year, but it's an interesting question, and each player really needs to learn what makes them play their best. And what I found out last year doing something different, as opposed to taking the week off before the major, I've now started to compete the week before. And what that has done is it has only given me a 3 or 4 day gap between competitive rounds. And when I have 11 to 14 days before competitive rounds, when I tee up on Thursday, I don't quite feel comfortable yet, especially in a tournament that is that big and that I've been looking forward to for so long. And last year, I had a very consistent year in the majors. I finished in the top 16 in all four, which I felt was a steady improvement. I played much more steady, or steadier in those majors, and so I'm going to continue to play the week before. Last year I won the Atlanta Classic. I'll come back to try to defend my title the week before Augusta, and I think that those competitive rounds, given the fact that the course is very similar to the style of play that we'll have at Augusta, I think that for me is the best way to prepare.
A lot of people think of you as the best picker of what's going to happen in sports in the country right now based on picking the Baltimore Ravens during the exhibition season last year and putting it in print on your website. What took you out for us this year, though?
Well, that was, I love football. I love studying it and watching all the trades. And the off-season is a fun time, seeing who's going where and so forth. And I just kind of saw I saw back then what Baltimore was doing. They were kind of becoming the anti-Rams. The Rams had the best offense. They were going to go at it with the best defense. And so that kind of gave me the idea that they may do it. I don't really know too much about a lot of other sports. Football is kind of my favorite. As far as the future, I'm waiting to see the next some of the off-season transactions between 3 or 4 teams to see which way I like. And obviously the NCAA tournament this week it seems to me to be a pretty obvious pick because Duke is just so strong athletically and so strong coaching that mentally and physically they're going to be prepared. It'll be really tough to get past them.
Back to the majors a little bit, or at least a reference to them in the name of Bobby Jones. What did it mean to you to win the Tour Championship at East Lake for Bobby Jones learning to play his golf?
Well, the reason why it was so special to me is because as a player, I love to become a part of the history of the game. And when I played East Lake, I felt like I became a part of the history that was what East Lake is all about. And when I read Bobby Jones's book, and he talks about the rounds that he played there, and the first time he broke 70, and the first time he broke par, and now I understand the holes that he was talking about, and so it gives me a much greater sense of history. And so winning that tournament, although it's a huge tournament on tour, the greatest satisfaction that I got out of that was becoming a part of the history of East Lake.
You've been starting to dabble in golf course design. Your new golf course, I believe, opened up just last month. Tell us a little bit about your interest in it and how much you expect to do going forward toward design.
Well, I'm not going to do too much because for the next 10 years I've committed myself to playing the best that I can and working on my game, and it takes too much time to do it right, I feel. And so I really enjoyed doing this first one, and everything had to be right. I had been turning it down, dozens of chances, but because I just wanted the right project to do the first one. If the first one's not right, it doesn't get any better. You can't get the top projects. And so the first course was perfect. It was core golf. It wasn't a development. It was on a beautiful site. It was in Scottsdale. The people that I was involved with at Greyhawk did this project, and it just worked out great. So I'm really excited about the way it turned out. I think that 10 years from now, I may look at doing a little bit more, but right now I maybe will do just one every 2 years.
How different are your golf dreams at the age of 30 than they were, say, at the age of 20?
They're not really that different. I feel like a player's career is defined by the time he's about 40. When he's 40, people look at him the same whether he wins more tournaments or not. And so I feel like for the next 10 years, that will be how my career will be thought of. And certainly the first 10 from 20 to 30 are important, but I really feel like I'm to the point right now where this is my best opportunity to play my best. This is as good as I could possibly play, especially when the 20 to 30 year bracket, I was not as fundamentally sound as we had discussed earlier. I feel like now I'm reaching a point where I can be consistent week in and week out, and I'm really excited about what the next few years bring.
Let's check in with one of our viewers. It's Chris from Ontario, who I think wants to stay right along that same line. Go ahead, Chris. It's right over here. Go to your left.
Hi, Mr. Mickelson.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Very good. Great playing on the weekend. It was very exciting.
Thank you.
It was a great tournament. I hope you get Tiger this week.
Well, I'll be trying.
I just want to ask you a question about the majors. What major do you think best suits your game?
Well, I think for me personally, the Masters best suits my game for the simple reason that the short game is an integral part of it. And I feel like without there being rough, I can really take advantage of my up and down ability. And also, I think length is a big factor there. And so because of that, there's a select 10 or 15 guys that have a distinct advantage. And I think that because of that, I have a good opportunity there. Now, certainly, the U.S. Open I played well in '99 at Pinehurst, but the reason I played well there was they shaved around the greens and brought all aspects of the game back into play, as opposed to just driving and hitting greens.
Right, you're right back with Phil Mickelson. Don't go away.
Will Call, you got 168 yards. What are you going to hit?
5, I guess.
You'd be more in control with a 6, wouldn't you?
Sure, if you get them to the island a little closer.
Relax.
Introducing new Top Flight XL 2000 irons. Ultra-strong Titan steel gives these irons a very thin club face, which results in a larger sweet spot, so you get explosive distance and exceptional forgiveness.
Bullseye! Woohoo! Yes. Don't get too cocky, Carl. I've seen you putt.
New Top Flight XL 2000 irons. Explosive distance, exceptional forgiveness.
Biggest star in the world is now on Tuesday night. He's only on the Golf Channel. Tiger Tuesdays, the most powerful night of the week on television, featuring all the fist-pumping, record-breaking, most insightful Tiger programs every Tuesday night. Tiger Tuesdays on the Golf Channel, where the legend continues every week.
Tuesday at 9, Tiger sits down for a frank discussion on his career and life on Golf Talk Live.
What did Payne Stewart say to you after one putting the last 3 holes to beat you by a shot at the '99 Open at Pinehurst?
He grabbed my face and said, "Phil, you're about to become a father, and it's the greatest thing." And I thought that it was pretty impressive that when he had just won the biggest tournament in golf, that he would be thinking about what I was going through. I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you believe at all in this business about fate playing a hand in his winning that championship before he died?
I certainly do. At the time, I was very disappointed, but given the circumstances that took place thereafter, I think that the outcome was the way it should have been.
When you think of him now, what do you think about?
Well, it's funny. The one thing that comes to my mind was the last time I saw him was at the '99 Ryder Cup, and he was on top of a piano Sunday night celebrating with a beer in one hand, cigar in the other, and he had these wild sweats on, and he was just dancing on the piano. We have a picture of that in our house, and that's the way I think of him, because he was a very free spirit.
Every time I see you with your wife Amy, it looks like it's the day that you just fell in love. What's the secret in your view of keeping your relationship apparently as wonderful as it seems to us as we look at how happy the two of you are when we see you together?
We both have high expectations of each other, and I have a wonderful, wonderful person. And when I look at my wife, I just think about how lucky I am to share all the experiences that we have gone through together. And certainly, the birth of our daughter was the most emotional experience that we've ever had. But the reason I think our relationship is so successful is because we accept each other for the way we are. We don't try to change each other, and we challenge each other each day to become better people. She makes me a better person when I'm around her, and we really have gone through life enjoying every experience together, and it's been marriage has been the most wonderful institution that I've been a part of.
What kind of player do you suppose your brother Tim is going to turn out to be?
That's an interesting question. I think that he has a lot of talent because he has very good touch and feel, and he hits the ball a long ways. And so I think that the refinement of bringing the misses in tighter can certainly be done. I've had to go through it. I know it can be done. And he has the assets that not many players have, which is length and a great short game.
So he has essentially the same gifts that you feel that you have?
I believe so. I think that he just needs to continue to work to improve and continue to get his misses reduced, and I think he's going to be a good player.
What's your golf relationship and your friendship like with him?
We get along really well, and I really enjoy his company. And we're very competitive in everything that we do. And he's been a wonderful brother. And I think that he's been in a very difficult situation, as has my sister been, in that they've had a sibling that's been somewhat successful, and it's been difficult for them because a lot of people that they meet ask them about me, and that's tough to be at, a situation to be in. And I think that they've handled it very well, and I'm very proud to be or to have Tim and Tina as my brother and sister.
Part of your on-course partnership has been your relationship with Jim McKay. People don't know much about him, don't understand the nature of the relationship, or why it's so important to the success you've had.
I honestly feel as though I've got the best caddy on tour because he's much more than that. He's a good friend of mine, and also, if you look at solely his job requirements, he's never been late in the 9 years we've been together. He's been with me since my first tour event. He's a very intelligent individual. He knows a lot of things about a lot of things. He knows everything about a lot of things. He's very intelligent. We call him the king of useless information because he'll come up with things that nobody would ever think or care about. He's very good at yardages, meaning when we've played in tournaments for the past 8 or 9 years, he writes down what I have hit, each club that I've hit, how far I had, what the temperature was like, what the wind condition was like, and how far the ball carried and ended up. Now, that's a lot of information, and over 9 years playing 5 rounds at the Pro-Am 4 competitive days, that's 45 shots that I've hit on each hole that we have documented that he has done. So when we go to tournaments like Denver's International, which is the hardest course to pull clubs on because of the altitude, we have a huge advantage, and consequently I've done very well there due directly to him.
We've got the final putt from last year's Colonial. Maybe you could tell us about it as we show it going to break.
Well, it went in, and
that part we do.
So this was a critical putt because at the time I was still a shot or two back of Stewart Sink, and just turned a little left to right there in the end, and I gave it a little fist pump because I was a little excited about that. That was a cool tournament. I was 7 back with 9 to go. I couldn't believe I had a shot at winning.
And a little 63 to close it out.
I'll take it.
We'll be right back. So the other night when you walked in the studio, you told me I wasn't as heavy as I usually was, and I told you look pretty good, and you said, no, I'm pretty heavy. So I was thinking today, well, what kind of commitment to fitness are you considering at this point?
Well, surprisingly, I've been working out pretty steadily. I know it doesn't show. I have been hitting all-time highs, which sucks. But the last few weeks, I've been working out pretty religiously, 5 or 6 times a week, and it's not because I feel like it's going to help my game or anything. It's just because I feel better about myself when I work out, whether it's cardiovascular or lifting weights. I enjoy doing both. I'll only lift at night, though. I won't lift before I play. And I feel like it will elongate my career, possibly prevent an injury, but also I started thinking, I want to be in good health so that when I'm 60, 65, 70, I'll still be able to enjoy my children's lives and watch them grow and develop. And I think that each parent really feels the need to be around and wants to be around to enjoy their growth and development. And so that's another big reason why I've been working out a little bit more.
What's your eating weakness? What do you love that you have too much of, or do you eat late at night?
Well, I'm on a very strict diet that a doctor put me on. He said that I can eat whatever I want, but I just can't swallow it. And so the swallowing part has been killing me because it just seems to follow right on down. But I like all foods, and it's just tough for me to eat a salad without dressing or a chicken plain. It's not going to happen.
You can eat whatever you want on this new special diet. Let's check in with Mark, who's here in Florida. Go ahead, Mark.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you, sir?
Hi. Phil, earlier this year, USA Today had a story regarding, it was their big golf issue, and they said they didn't quote you directly, but they had a statement about tournaments held opposite the more elite tournaments, such as Tucson and Mercedes. And they said that you question the need to have such tournaments. And I was wondering if that was an accurate statement, or if not, what kind of context was that in?
It's pretty close. I certainly feel that when we have conflicting events, we're diluting the product that we present to the public. Just like expansion baseball, expansion football, we have to create more jobs to fill those spots, and the jobs that we use to create those are less than the top players, and we're not giving the public the strongest product that we can present. And ultimately what happened was 3 years ago when we came out with the World Golf Championship, we had 8 tournaments where every one of the top 64 players in the world played in, and it was awesome. We had the 4 majors and the Players Championship, 5 tournaments, and everybody played the World Golf Championship. But what happened was we had these conflicting events that the purses were much smaller, and we had all the players on tour say, that's not right, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you're going to make more money, and the same guys will keep repeating. And so what we did was we took some excess revenue that the tour had created and supplemented it into those tournaments, building up those purses. And so now all the other tournaments have pretty much caught up with the World Golf Championship. They're all between $3.5 and $4.5 million. And so players no longer feel the need to play the World Golf Championship. So now instead of having 8 tournaments that all the top players play in, we have 5 again. And I just think that had we taken the money that we had put into those conflicting events and put it to keep the World Golf Championships ahead of the field purse-wise, we would still have 8 tournaments where we presented the best players to the public.
Speaking of presenting the best players, is Nicklaus going to have a problem getting the best team together for the President's Cup in South Africa next year?
That's a good question. I don't think we will know that until about a month or 2 beforehand, because certainly a lot can happen over the course of the year, and right now a lot of people are just thinking about the Ryder Cup. Let's go over to the Belfry and see if we can retain that cup. And so not too many people are really looking a year and a half advance all the way down to the President's Cup in South Africa. So that's a tough question to answer right now.
Who are your heroes that have nothing to do with golf?
Well, I respect a lot of people, and I respect people that have, I love the story. It can be from a CEO of a company, like, that has a great story, I don't really want to mention names, but that come from very difficult backgrounds, or it could be just somebody like my dad. And my dad has overcome a lot and has done a lot and is very good at everything that he does. And so I respect him as an individual. In fact, I've learned a lot from him. I've learned from my mom. I've got my sense of humor. I'm very similar to her in that regard, but I'm very similar to my dad in my thought process and decision making. And I think that I respect the way he goes about things, in that he analyzes the situation, gathers as much information as he can before he formulates a decision.
What do they say to you about what they think you've become as a man, as a father, as a husband, as an athlete?
Well, I think it's very difficult from a parent's point of view to let their child out on their own. And it certainly started in college. It starts in college for most families, but it's still, you're always their baby. And just like Amanda will always be my daughter, she could be 35 or 30 years old, she'll still be my baby. And so my parents look at me like that, and I think that it's been tough for them to watch me go out and just be on my own. But I think I think they're more excited about Amy and Amanda than they are about anything that I've ever done in golf, which is great, because that's what is so fulfilling about life, is the family and the relationships that we have.
We'll be right back as we leave. We've got a little shot from the 99 Ryder Cup.
This is a cool shot, a little wedge here on 10, and Tom Lavey comes over and gives me the biggest bear hug. And then this is where I knew I was heavy, because he said, you weigh a heck of a lot more than Corey Bateman.
Even with that short haircut.
Look at that, he got me up, but he said it was tough.
And he's a big bear. We'll be right back. How are you, Darryl, in Pennsylvania? Darryl?
Yeah, I got a quick question for you, Phil. By the way, congratulations on playing a good tournament
Thank you.
this past weekend.
I just wanted to know if you could just talk a little bit about the San Diego incident, Duke Invitational, when the ball was lost and everything.
Sure. What happened was when both Frank and I approached our balls, they had already found Frank's, but they had not found mine. And so I told the rules official, Mark Russell, I am not looking for my ball right now because that would mean that my 5 minutes would already start. I wanted to wait to see what Frank was going to do, if he was going to have to go back to the tee or what. So when he decided to go back to the tee, that's when I wanted to abandon my ball and just play my provisional that I already hit. And the gentleman that found it felt awful, and he was doing me a favor, or so he thought, and it was just a fluke thing that he ended up finding it. So I think that, well, I was a little heated there. I probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah, there I go again. I was a little upset at the time, certainly, but it showed the fact that when I went back and hit a provisional, I knocked it in the trees again, and I could have easily lost the tournament right there again, and as opposed to being able to hit the ball that was already in the fairway. But that was just knowing the rules, and unfortunately I didn't see him down there, and he didn't hear me.
But you said to the shot that you hit, the second tee shot, spit it out, because you can't talk to a hook, but you can talk to a block, right?
Apparently a fatal listen, because that one did, and that one came right back out. It wasn't the best lie. I was in the rough, and I was able to knock it on and force Frank to get up and down from the fairway to beat me.
Check in with Mark Rolfing, NBC Sports' Mark Rolfing. He doesn't get enough of you on the golf course.
What's going on?
Hello, Peter and Phil.
Hello, Mark.
I was out there yesterday, Phil, as you know, and that was one of the best final rounds I think I've ever seen. And you guys have been up there talking about fate, even fate at San Diego, and certainly the fate at Pinehurst was something we'll never forget. But when you look now at the tape of what Tiger did, the big putt at 14, snapping it at 16, and then hitting a tee shot at 18, I mean, how do you feel about the way you played and the end result?
Well, I'm pleased with the way I played, and the difficult thing about that is that I played two groups in front of him, and so he had 2 holes left to play. And when you give a player like Tiger a chance to know what he has to do, he normally does it. And so it was tough because 17 and 18 were playing very difficult, and I certainly wanted him to have to make birdie on 17 and 18 to win. But it was difficult for me to get aggressive. I didn't feel like I could on 17. I was just trying to make 3 there. I felt 18 provided me the best opportunity, and after that drive, you saw I didn't have a chance. And so that was what was difficult, was having to be 2 groups in front of him. I would have loved to have been able to play with him and know what I had to do as well. But I don't walk away from yesterday feeling disappointed because I shot the number I felt I needed to. I played well, and I didn't make any mistakes, didn't make a single bogey, and so I was certainly pleased with that.
And not all the breaks that the other fellows are going to get are going to be bad breaks.
That's true, and I think that even though he made some poor swings for him, he was able to do what he needed to do to win, and that's the toughest thing. That's how you compete. That's not having to be everything going along the way you want. It's just finding a way to win, and he did that.
We'll be back in just a moment. And as we leave you, just want to make sure you're familiar with our website. Log on to thegolfchannel.com. Check out the Golf Talk Live section. You can see the things that you can do when you find it on our website. Check out the rest of the website as well for articles, updated scores, and everything golf, thegolfchannel.com. Easier than they've ever been, but if you compare them to 5 years ago, they're significantly more difficult in terms of the setup.
I really think that they are, and that we're making greens much firmer. And Bay Hill's a perfect example. They installed a suction device that sucks the moisture out of the greens. So we get all this rain, and the greens are just rock hard. It was very difficult to get the ball close on Sunday as we saw balls just racing across the green, and it's because they were so firm. And that's the easiest way to get scores to go up, that and rough.
Are there any thoughts about the way in which the U.S. team conducted themselves at the Ryder Cup in '99, and that one needs to have an adjustment in either attitude or in the way in which one outwardly presents themselves this go-around?
Well, certainly we can talk about what happened on 17 Green. It was a show of emotion, and we saw that from every player on every day of every match throughout the entire week. And this wasn't the only show of emotion that took on that occurred that week. I don't think that it was the best thing that we could have done, but on the other hand, I don't think that it would be any different either way. I mean, I would expect them to be excited had they won, just as they were in 95 and 97. My match wasn't done on 18 when they were jumping on the green. Granted, I closed them out on 17. But that's really not, it doesn't matter. They won the thing, it was over, although it wasn't over when we won. There was still a fight to be made, and so I think we were in the wrong there. And I think that what's disappointing to me is that 60-some-odd years ago when this event was instilled, it was to promote the game of golf and promote sportsmanship amongst both continents, and it really is no longer that. It creates a lot of animosity, and I think that I'd like to see it get back to the way it was.
So with Curtis Range as captain, who's a no-nonsense, intensely competitive guy, you wouldn't expect there to be too much let's be nice to everybody kind of a flavor. I don't mean rude, but I'm talking about intensely competitive feelings.
Well, he is a tough competitor. He won 2 at U.S. Opens, and he's there to compete. He's there to win, as all the players are, and that's really the way it's become. Now, if you look at it, the European team has won 5 of the last 7 Ryder Cups. They've been really doing well, and I would like to think that it's about to change, that we've got some good young American players coming up, but they have some good young players too. And so I think that the state of the Ryder Cup is in a great state, but this year will be very competitive at the Belfry, especially given the fact that the way not only the players but the fans were in the U.S., it'll be a difficult one coming up. But I think we're all looking forward to it, and both sides, as tough as a competitor as Captain Strange is, and as much as both sides want to win, I really think we're going to make it after this year to promote the game in a very positive manner and not have some outbursts like that.
When your scorecard goes on a roller coaster ride like it did in the middle 2 rounds of this past week at Bay Hill, do your emotions go on a roller coaster ride too?
They do, and it's very difficult to control it. I try not to display too much emotion on the course because I just don't think it looks good either way. I don't think getting too excited looks great, and I don't think that breaking a club looks very good either. But when I'm making 7 bogeys and I'm trying to win a golf tournament doing that, it's very frustrating because I expect a lot more out of myself. I've been working hard, and I know that I can do a lot better. And to make 4 decisions, to make 4 swings like that is very frustrating to all players. And I try to stay calm and handle it. I think I did a pretty good job because ultimately I was able to turn it around and get back to contention to almost win.
The goals that you set for yourself, very briefly, are they event-driven or are they about your just getting better?
They have to be about just getting better and about working at integral parts of my game, meaning this year I'm working a lot on wedge play because that 60 to 150 yard area is critical. And if I can improve on that, the events will come just like they did last year. Last year I worked a lot of hours from 150 yards in, and I was able to win 4 tournaments because I scored better.
Great pleasure to spend another hour with you. Thank you so much. Thanks for making